Hey everybody, and welcome to Audio White Papers. Today I'm going to be reading the Ripple White Paper. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe, leave us a like or a comment. That would be really great if you could do that. We intend to do an audio collection of different cryptocurrency white papers that have a significant amount of community support, as well as ones that we find personally interesting. If you have any interest in supporting the project, there's a link to donate Bitcoin and Ethereum in the channel, and right next to me there's QR codes there. Also note that aside from this intro, the information that I'm reading is not mine. I am not the author. I'm going to be reading exactly it's written by the author, who is not me. If you have any questions or concerns or any requests for any white papers, please let us know in the comments below, or send us an email at audiowhitepapers@gmail.com. With that, thanks a lot for watching and enjoy. Ripple. Solution Overview. One frictionless experience to send money globally across a connected network of financial institutions and payment providers. Payment networks of today. A fragmented system of siloed networks. Today's global payment system is neither global nor a system. A system, defined as a set of connected things forming a complex whole, does not describe the currently siloed payments networks that lack effective interconnectivity to deliver on the demands of today's customers. As for its global reach, due to the high costs and inefficiencies of cross-border payments, many banks, businesses, and consumers are shut out of the current system. The litany of pain points. Low speed, limited transparency, and high cost from the current system stem from the lack of a single global payments network. The fragmentation of existing networks has significant downstream impact. Primarily, it results in a marginal experience for all parties involved in cross-border payments. Without a direct connectivity between transacting parties, favors such as traceability and timing are a black box to sending and receiving banks, businesses, and consumers. Because of the high processing costs from one network to the next that are passed down to the end users, it limits banks' addressable market and impacts their servicing capabilities. The lack of standardization across networks impacts functionalities such as data transfer, making it unreliable for end users to send critical information with their transaction. The result is driving businesses and consumers from banks to fintech providers that can more adequately meet their needs. See figure on the right. RippleNet, one connected global payments network. RippleNet delivers a single, frictionless experience for global payments. Rather than a constellation of disparate technologies, unstandardized communications, and centralized networks, RippleNet is a single global network of banks that send and receive payments via RippleNet's distributed financial technology, providing real-time messaging, clearing, and settlement of transactions. RippleNet is a decentralized network based on an agreement between Ripple and network participants, all of which utilize the same technology and adhere to a consistent set of payment rules and standards. RippleNet banks benefit from the robust connectivity, standardized technology, and rich data attachments with each payment. Ripple's distributed financial technology outperforms today's infrastructure by driving down costs, increasing processing speeds, and delivering end-to-end visibility into payment fees, timing, and delivery. See figure on the right. Ripple participants. The ecosystem of RippleNet participants is categorized into two key groups: network members, banks and payment providers, and network users, corporates, consumers, and others. Network members, enablers of RippleNet. Banks looking to process payments for corporates and consumers. Some would also process payments for and provide liquidity to other banks. These banks would leverage RippleNet to enhance their servicing to existing customers and drive acquisition. Payment providers looking to supply liquidity and expand payout reach for banks to increase their payment volumes. Network users, originators of RippleNet. Platform businesses looking to send disbursements of high volume and low value to a global base of suppliers, merchants, and employees. Corporate treasury departments looking to send large disbursements across their global supply chain to gain greater capital efficiency, visibility, and control. Banks and payment providers looking to only send payments rather than process them to overcome the high costs and inefficiencies of correspondent banking. Consumers looking to send global payments through their bank or payment provider for a cost-efficient, real-time, and traceable option. Xcurrent, Ripple software that provides API-based messaging and transaction settlement based on an open, neutral protocol of value transfer between different ledgers and networks. Ripple for banks. State of banking payments, inefficient batch infrastructure. The needs of today's corporate and retail transaction banking customers have evolved significantly. In addition to sending high-value payments, they require the ability to send international low-value payments on demand and in real time, not only across banking networks, but also emerging financial networks, for example, mobile wallets. The limitations of today's infrastructure force banks to process payments in batch, resulting in high processing costs, lengthy settlement times, and a poor customer experience. These inefficiencies not only result in an enormous cost, an estimated $1.6 trillion per year for all participants in the ecosystem, but also fail to meet the needs of today's banking customer. Ripple, efficient on-demand payment infrastructure. Ripple software connects these siloed networks through an open, neutral protocol, Interledger Protocol (ILP), that brings new efficiency to financial settlement by enabling real-time settlement, ensuring transaction certainty, and removing settlement risk. Ripple software also includes data-rich messaging between all transacting parties, delivering a real-time payment experience to end users. See figure below. Xcurrent. Ripple software Xcurrent enables banks to differentiate themselves by offering new cross-border payment services while lowering their total cost of settlement. The solution is specifically designed to meet the needs of banks by fitting within their existing risk, compliance, and information security frameworks. Ripple software is installed with the bank's infrastructure and is built to interface with the bank's system using an API interface or through a translation layer that can consume traditional payment message formats to compress the integration time frame into weeks. All members of RippleNet are connected through Ripple's standardized technology, Xcurrent. Xcurrent is the first global real-time gross settlement system, RTGS, that enables banks to message, clear, and settle their transactions with increased speed, transparency, and efficiency across RippleNet's global footprint of banks and payment providers. The solution is built around ILP, an open, neutral protocol that enables interoperation between different ledgers and payment networks. The solution offers a cryptographically secure, end-to-end payment flow with transaction immutability and information redundancy. It is designed to comply with each bank's risk, privacy, and compliance requirements. Because the software is architected to fit within banks' existing infrastructure, it minimizes integration overhead and business disruption. Solution components. Messenger. Messenger is an API-based messaging module that enables bidirectional communication between RippleNet banks. It connects to the beneficiary bank's instance of Messenger to the exchange KYC and risk information, fees, FX rates if applicable, payment details, and expected time of funds delivery. It packages this information and presents the entire cost structure to the originating bank, providing unprecedented visibility into the total cost of the transaction. If information is incorrect or missing, transacting parties will find out before initiating the transaction, drastically increasing straight-through processing (STP) rates. Once the sender approves the transaction, Messenger employs ILP to settle funds and notifies all parties of the transaction confirmation. FX Ticker. FX Ticker is the component of Xcurrent that facilitates the exchange between ledgers by enabling liquidity providers to post FX rates. This component provides the exchange rate between any pair of ledgers that it is configured with. Additionally, it keeps track of the account, currency, and authentication credentials for each configured ILP ledger. During the transaction, it coordinates transfers on ILP ledgers for settlement, ensures the validity of an FX quote, and transfers the bank payment to the beneficiary bank's ILP ledger. Validator. Validator is a component that cryptographically confirms the success or failure of a payment. It coordinates the funds movement across the ledgers of transacting parties in a way that removes all settlement risk and minimizes delays in settlement. Validator provides the single source of truth for the transacting counterparties regarding the success or failure of a payment. ILP Ledger. ILP Ledger is a subledger of each transacting bank's general ledger. This component of Xcurrent is utilized to track the credits, debits, and liquidity across the transacting parties. ILP Ledger enables transacting parties to settle funds atomically, which means the entire transaction settles instantly or not at all, no matter how many parties are involved. The ability to atomically settle enables new, low-value offerings through the ability to send real-time payments as the settlement of funds happens in milliseconds. Further, the settlement risk is eliminated because the payment processes entirely or fails upfront. ILP Ledger is designed to provide transacting banks with 24/7 on-demand availability. The combination of these capabilities allows banks to profitably offer low-value, on-demand international payments products and services. Key benefits: enhance customer acquisition and retention. By delivering new products and services to retail and corporate customers, featuring high-speed, on-demand, cost-effective, and traceable global payments in both assisted and unassisted channels, it provides an opportunity to re-engage and retain existing customers. Xcurrent's frictionless payment experience mitigates disintermediation from online, non-bank payment providers. The solution is a key competitive advantage and promotion-worthy offering to drive customer acquisition. Low operational costs. With Xcurrent's bidirectional messaging, banks can more efficiently exchange information regarding the sender, receiver, fees, rates, delivery estimate, and payment status to lower their operational cost of processing international payments. Payment processing costs are significantly reduced through Xcurrent's ability to increase STP rates and eliminate SWIFT fees. Treasury operational costs are decreased by lowering in-flight capital requirements, liquidity costs, counterparty risk, and compliance costs. Reconciliation costs are reduced due to Xcurrent's ability to provide instant confirmation and real-time liquidity monitoring. See figure on the right. RippleNet Rulebook and Governance. The value of RippleNet derives from its combination of key elements: standardized and powerful technology, a global network of banks and payment providers, a consistent set of rules and standards, and a governance structure comprised of an advisory board of industry leaders. To join RippleNet, both members and users sign an agreement with Ripple and follow the rules and standards as outlined in the rulebook, which eliminates the need for inefficient bilateral agreements. Rulebook. The objective of the rulebook is to create a legal framework that ensures the optimal working relationship with all network participants and a seamless experience for the end user. The rulebook provides detailed information regarding the rights and obligations of network participants, business and operational rules, and the process for changes to the rulebook. It also offers in-depth technical standards regarding the end-to-end transaction flow and defines the service level agreement between transacting parties. In essence, the rulebook creates consistency across RippleNet by providing operational certainty and legal clarity for every transaction. RippleNet Advisory Board and Governance. Ripple actively consults its advisory board, which includes industry leaders from transaction banking, digital services, and cash management. Regarding the rulebook, the advisory board provides governance to consistently ensure that the rules and standards are in close alignment with the exact needs of today's banks and their customers. Compliance. Ripple is a software provider. Ripple provides licensed software and integration services that enable clients to facilitate real-time payments. A bank's use of Xcurrent may be subject to a regulator's oversight, approval, and examination, depending on the rules of each country. The regulatory treatment of Xcurrent is dependent on several factors, such as the type of client being serviced, including its type of license, charter, and designation, country of integration and geographic scope of operations, volume and scope of activity enabled through the software provided, level of dependency on the software provided, other factors determined by the bank or regulator. Over the past 2 years, Ripple has engaged with central banks and regulators globally to educate them on distributed networks as well as Ripple and Xcurrent's role in the current ecosystem. As business engagements are formalized, Ripple works with each bank to identify and assist them with meeting all relevant regulatory requirements ahead of integration. Data privacy and protection. Xcurrent creates a direct, secure connection between the banks. All payment data is sent directly between the institutions that are parties to the payment. Neither Ripple, the company, nor any third party have access to this data. This design ensures that the banks have control over access to their customers' data and how it is stored. Data in flight. Data sent using Xcurrent is transferred securely using HTTPS and is protected by SSL encryption. Additionally, Ripple uses a combination of OAuth and client SSL certificate authentication to protect connections and endpoints. Data is only accessible to the banks that are part of the transaction. Data at rest. As only the banks related to the payments have access to the data, those banks maintain control over their customer data and transaction records, storing this information as per their IT, cybersecurity, and data protection standards. KYC and AML compliance processes. The use of Xcurrent for payments does not impact a bank's compliance responsibilities. Recognizing this, Ripple's products are designed to complement a bank's existing customer onboarding, due diligence, and transaction monitoring programs. When using Xcurrent, a bank's customer onboarding and Know Your Customer (KYC) obligations remain unchanged. The bank maintains full responsibility for ongoing compliance with anti-money laundering (AML) and Office of Foreign Asset Control (OFAC), or more broadly, sanctions, legislation, and regulations. Banks are also responsible for ongoing monitoring of transactions conducted through Xcurrent in accordance with their existing transaction monitoring program requirements. U.S. banks also maintain responsibility for compliance with foreign correspondent account record keeping and due diligence requirements specified under Section 312 of the USA Patriot Act. Use of Ripple does not alter these obligations of the bank. Ripple has designed its software to assist its bank customers in complying with other related regulations. The messaging capability of Messenger enables banks to comply with U.S. travel rule requirements. It also provides upfront free negotiation capabilities to assist with Regulation E prepayment disclosure obligations, Section 1073 of the Dodd-Frank Act. The direct bidirectional messaging between originating and beneficiary banks allows for the secure transfer of additional data about the payment, its sender, and its recipient. While the bank's compliance with AML and sanctions obligations remains unchanged, the timing of its sanctions screening activities may need to be altered given the real-time nature of Xcurrent transactions. To capitalize on the speed at which transactions are conducted using Ripple's solution, banks may wish to augment their sanction screening processes to pass this benefit on to their customers. This consideration is institution-specific, dependent on the capabilities, speed, and compliance policy of the bank. Fee pre-disclosure. Xcurrent enables banks to have complete clarity into the fees and FX cost of the payment before initiating the transaction. This transparency allows the bank to accurately quote the total cost of sending the payment to the consumer before sending the funds. Fee transparency in Xcurrent is a significant advantage over payment systems today, which do not provide visibility into the total cost before sending the payment. Xcurrent's ability to pre-disclose all fees prior to sending the payment not only improves the customer experience, but also enables compliance with laws in some countries, specifically the United States. Security. Payment data separation. Implementing a payment system on Xcurrent provides a layer of separation and security between payment data and settlement data for financial transactions that are executed over ILP. Validator only sees cryptographic cases that it uses to mathematically verify that each institution has fulfilled the conditions required to execute the payment and does not require payment data. This limits the number of times data needs to be transmitted between the two banks. The actual payment data is encrypted and shared only between the two institutions making payments to each other when necessary. The following types of payment data are stored and maintained in internal databases that are only accessible by each bank: identifiers for originators and the beneficiaries, required PII, CIP information for originators and beneficiaries, additional payment information such as invoice numbers, additional metadata. Secure connection. Banks' internal systems communicate with Xcurrent over secure HTTPS connections and use OAuth 2.0 for authentication. ILP components of Xcurrent use HTTPS for secure communication with each other and Messenger using CA certificates for authentication. HTTPS is also used for pre-transacting communication between Messenger instances at corresponding partner institutions, communication between messenger, validator, ILP ledger, and FX connector. About Ripple. Ripple provides one frictionless experience to send money globally using the power of blockchain. By joining Ripple's growing global network, financial institutions can process their customers' payments anywhere in the world instantly, reliably, and cost-effectively. Banks and payment providers can use the digital asset XRP to further reduce their costs and access new markets. With offices in San Francisco, New York, London, Sydney, and Luxembourg, Ripple has more than 75 customers across 27 countries. I hope you guys enjoyed that audio version of the Ripple white paper. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, leave us a like or a comment, and definitely donate using the addresses in the description or the QR codes next to me right now. And if you guys have any requests, please send us an email at audiowhitepapers@gmail.com. Thanks a lot for listening, and see you next time.